Good morning and welcome to another Next Gen Planners Commute. What does it say? Wednesday, the 13th of May. I'm Rohan Subajoti, one of the co-founders here at Next Gen, and this morning I'm joined by my co-presenter, Andy Coles. Good morning, Andy.
Morning, Mohan. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very good. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thanks. I'm actually looking forward as lockdown eases to be able to get a proper bike ride in. I spent the last 6 to 7 weeks cycling with a 7-year-old as my one exercise a day. So actually, I now be able to go twice and actually do some proper miles. So that's something to look forward to today.
Well, at least you've been doing some exercise. I'm sort of hoping at the end of this lockdown that the dad bod is still in fashion anyway, because otherwise I'm in serious trouble. So today's show, we have our regular Wednesday phone-in. The Q&A today is on entry into the profession and early stage career. So we've got 4 brilliant panellists joining us who are Jess Gear, Dan Graham, Gabby Cotton-Gambara, might be a prize for best name there, and Robert Cooper. And guys, I will talk to you a little bit more later on. I'm really looking forward to that. So, Andy, what else do we have on the show today?
We've got Chris Budd's thought for the day, and we've got Dan's Wednesday quiz, which will tell me how old I am again, I'm sure. But we start off this morning at the news desk with Laura.
Hello, hi everyone. So in the news this morning, we have an interview with fund manager Nick Train about suspending dividend payments. Train's Finsbury Growth and Income Fund has cautioned its shareholders that it's not immune to dividend cuts, and he revealed that over 8% of the portfolio has recently suspended its investor payouts. You may already have seen The Telegraph has reported that Rishi Sunak has been presented with a document outlining his options for raising the 30 billion to fund the furlough scheme. His options are said to include income tax rate rises, an end to the triple lock, and a reform to pensions tax. So this morning, editor Will Robbins has published a piece talking about the future of pension savings and reforms to the pension tax. Editor Charles Walmsley is putting out a summary of the best performing funds over the last few months and why they've been doing well. Speaking of which, I've also been speaking to some fund managers, and I'm going to be doing a piece on some of the top performing companies, particular stocks, who are manufacturing things to aid the coronavirus crisis, like making ventilators and so on. Markets wise, the FTSE 100 has fallen this morning at the open, I think 0.9%, back below the 6,000 mark, which I think it crept up yesterday for the second time since the start of the pandemic. That's probably it for the news.
Thank you, Laura.
That's okay.
As a change today, instead of asking you what's coming up, we're going to go to Will, who's got an announcement for us.
Okay.
Hello, yes, hope everyone can hear me. Yeah, thanks for letting me do a plug. It's like in chat shows, they always do this bit to the guests they have on. They say something like, "Oh yes, thanks very much. We've had a lot of fun putting this together. We have had a lot of fun putting this together." What it is we're doing we have another one of our live events. The virtual events is a fancy word for a webinar, but it's taking place at 2:30 today. I will post a link right now in the chat, which I'm doing now. I've just done it now. The reason I'm giving it a plug and being a bit cheeky is because I think this one might particularly be in your wheelhouse, you guys' wheelhouse, because it's about decision making. So there's a few elements to that. Obviously, it's about the decisions you make yourself as a planner, as a business. There's quite interesting bits there on sort of groupthink and sort of corporate decision making, but as you might do in your firm, but also clients as well. So, I know a lot of you are interested in client behavior, their relationship with money. I know, I don't know if Joe and Alfie are here, but when I was, going through the planning conversations, there's a lot of chat there about my relationship with money and my, the decisions I was taking there. So we're going to talk about that. So I think there's hopefully a bit there about for all of you, whether planners or directors. We've got a guy called Ben Hammersley, who's our sort of speaker for that. He's sort of TED Talk type speaker. He's very good. He's very sort of a technologist, journalist, and he's going to do sort of his presentation on what he calls cognitive risk. So very, very, very quickly, it's like 4 pillars of cognitive risk: bad inputs, bad thinking. So what you do when you've got that information, bad environments, so meeting rooms with no air in, that type of thing, and sort of bad outputs. So like when you're trying to implement decisions, the things that go wrong there. And he's going to be joined by Nick, Don Fraser, who some of you might know from Capital Asset Management. Great guy. He's got lots, he's very outspoken. And we've also got a wealth manager in this audience as well. So we've got Nick Spicer, Head of Investments and Portfolio Metrics, that I know a few of you might be using as well. Again, to talk about sort of some of the, the view from sort of a bigger corporate entity as well. So it's going to be, hopefully there's a lot of colourful sort of stories in there about sort of bad decisions that we made and how to do it better. And it'd be great to see you there. Click on the link, sign up. You can have it on in the background. You can interact with it or do what you want, but it'd be great to see you there. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Will. And now we move on to Chris Budd's thought for the day. Morning, Chris. How are you?
Morning, Andrew. Very well, thank you. Good morning, everybody. I am going to have a fairly short one this morning because I was changed what I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about the webinars that Neil Bage and I have just finished doing about helping people understand behaviours and making better financial decisions. We are, by the way, running them again. They went so well. It'll be so much fun to write. So we're doing them again in June, and I'll post a link if that's okay. But I saw a tweet this morning from John Pittham that inspired me to change my topic at the last minute. He'd seen an IFA tweet a market update that was a month old. And he just made the comment, come on, guys, if ever there was a time to have something up to date, now is the time. And it made me think a couple of things. First of all, Ruth Power then came on and said, oops, I better turn off my recurring marketing update, which is perhaps a really good tip in itself. But it also just highlights, I think, how utterly pointless market updates are. Not marketing, investment market updates. All that's going to happen if you post to your clients a market update is they're going to either ignore it, or they're going to get excited by it, which is a false emotion because it's just going to change tomorrow, or they're going to get worried by it, which is a false emotion because it's going to change tomorrow. So talking to clients about investment changes and marketing on that basis, I would suggest can only be an unhealthy thing to do. But there's a further point here, which is the focus of the financial planning process. The whole reason why you exist is to help clients to be happier, to help them make better financial decisions. And that means your planning should be focused not on investments. There's all sorts of behavioral stuff about framing and so forth, why that's a bad idea. But it should be focused upon their intrinsic motivations, their purpose. That's what you are for. So by talking to them about investments, and particularly marketing to them about investments, you're talking to them, you're taking their mind off the very purpose of your existence. So my tip would be, don't talk to clients about investments if at all possible.
Very good, Chris. Thank you very much, and very poignant after Laura's market update this morning. So thank you very much for that. I'm sure she really appreciates it. Thank you.
I did warn in advance, to be fair.
You did, to be fair. You did. Thank you very much, Chris. Some excellent thoughts there. Appreciate it. Right, moving on to today's Q&A. I don't know if it was mentioned earlier on as well. There is a quiz today, of course, Wednesday, so that'll be coming after the Q&A. So for today's Q&A, if you could all just say hello after I read each one of your names, that'd be super. We've got Jess Gear from Magenta.
Sorry, I was on mute. Hello.
Hello. We've got Robert Cooper from Generation.
Hello.
Gabby Cotton-Gambara from Amber Wealth.
Hello.
And some guy called Dan from Postcard Planning.
Good morning.
Morning. Oh, you're going to get some questions here, Dan, I'm telling you. So let us start with yourself there, Robert, if that's all right. Can you tell me what it is that prompted you to join the profession, and just tell us a little bit about your current role?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. It's a bit of a peculiar one, really. I went straight from college into work, started selling payroll software and services. It was always a dream of mine. And and I basically got to a point where things were progressing well, but it wasn't essentially fulfilling. And that's no discredit to the job itself. Initially, it was a brilliant platform, and they provided what I'm doing now. So I'm very grateful for it. So I did the stereotypical thing and disappeared for a couple of years and went traveling, and came back, and sort of, whilst I was away, I've always been interested in finance and trying to understand how to make yourself a bit more financially stable, and why it wasn't so accessible to, or deemed so accessible to people. In my time in payroll, I've been working with an IFA, Generation, and started having conversations when I came back. I did have a couple of roles before, one of which I tried selling to Andy and Shai at Generation, and through that process they ended up selling to me. the actual role of an IFA, because it was just something we kept talking about. So that's sort of how I've ended up there. I've always been interested, and I just want to make sure that people understand that there's better options. You should be doing more sensible things with your money, and ironically, we're now sort of living through that. So that's sort of how I got into it.
Good on you, Robert. A nice one from going to the salesman into there to being sold to. That's cool. Cool. And Jess, I think you've recently-ish, probably got that wrong, joined Magenta. What have you found the most sort of challenging element so far?
I think slowing down. I want to know everything straight away, and there's so much that there is to know in financial planning. So actually slowing down and taking it one day at a time and building my knowledge, I think has been the most challenging.
Okay, good stuff. And Gabby, can you talk to us about how you found the profession?
I found the profession. Yeah, so I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do to begin with as a career, but I knew that I wanted something where I would progress and where there were like opportunities to do like exams and stuff like that. So I did a degree in economics and management sciences, and then after that I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So I went and did a behavioural finance master's. And I really wanted something that would relate to my master's, because I really enjoyed the psychology element and the finance element. And I thought financial planning would really suit that kind of subject. So what I did, we have at uni, we had speakers that would come every week, usually actually on a Wednesday, which is quite ironic. But they'd come and speak about their job role. We had a wealth manager, he spoke about wealth management, but we never really had a financial planner. So I thought I have to do a bit more research on this. So I got in contact with a financial planner, and I went to speak to him about the role, and I just thought, this is the role for me. And from there, I just looked for job roles in my area, and I ended up at Amber Wealth.
Wow, brilliant. Behavioural finance masters as well. Very impressive, very good. Okay, super. And Dan, question for you here. What's the square root of 397? Right, okay. So Dan, obviously, so you've been about now for around about, what is it, 2.5 years now?
2.5 years, yeah, for my sins. For
your sins, mate, for your sins. And what, and how have you found the profession so far?
Yeah, it's been okay. I mean, yeah, I've got a bit of a different route to the other guys in that I tried financial planning for a bit, did all the exams and everything, and then actually decided that maybe it wasn't for me just yet. And I found the marketing side and the kind of the operational side to the business more interesting. That's not to say that I won't come back to it one day, but at the moment, that's what I'm doing. But yeah, it's good. I mean, Next Gen's helped a lot, obviously, because you see the best in everyone. I mean, when you look on Twitter, you can see the worst of everyone with all the arguments and everything that's happening on there. I think Chris said that before, didn't he? But yeah, other than that, I mean, Next Gen's massively helped in seeing the positive side of what the profession so far.
Good man. And Jess, so when you turn around to your friends and you said, "I'm going to go work for a financial planners," how do they react to that? What's the sort of concept?
My friend isn't too bad, because I found out about financial planning through a friend. She said to me, like, "You'll be perfect for this kind of job. You're very sociable. You like very inquisitive, and you've got a background in physics and numbers and all of that side of things." So my friendship group are quite good. They know what I'm doing. But if I speak to, external family or friends that aren't in that group, nobody has a clue. Not a clue. So it's quite interesting having to explain it to everyone, and they're very interested once you do.
Okay, interesting. And there's a question that's come through the chat here for you, Gabby, from Chris Budd, which is, how have you used your behavioural finance masters so far in your role?
I think it's quite easy, because you have the people and you have a technical side. So you have the finance side with all the technical bits, and then you have the people who can be emotional. But also, I think having done a behavioural finance master's and studied like all the cognitive biases and heuristics in a lot of depth, I think I'm actively thinking about them all the time. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, thank you. And Robert, so from your perspective, with your role with Generation, what is it that you think makes a good leader? Because I know you mentioned people like Shai there and stuff who are currently your bosses there. What are the sort of qualities that you see within them?
Well, actually, this current situation has been perfect to sort of highlight just their leadership skills, both Andy and Shai. I think open and honest leadership, sort of transparency with what's going on. But previous to that, just constantly, I don't know, for me, I've had sort of both ends of the spectrum, and I always think that there's honesty and can also lead to criticism, but it's constructive and it's always driving you for improvement. So leadership should be aiming for improvement and knowing when to push and not being scared to critique. But I also think it is about the transparency and providing a reward and being honest when somebody's done something right. So I think it's a hard thing to get right, but yeah, Andy and Shai have managed this current situation with honesty. They've let us know where we are, where the markets are at, and what we need to be doing moving forward. So there's a clear direction as well, and there's a future plan. And I think they always lead to sort of an ease of what you're doing on a day-to-day.
Okay, super. Great stuff. Thank you, Robert. And Jess, what are sort of the most helpful resources that you've found so far?
I like the sheer volume of resources. There's always something that I can dip into, and I like dipping into loads of different things. If I get bored of reading the textbook, I can go and listen to some webinars or the audio cues, or I can just pop onto the government website, which is always really concise and handy. So yeah, I like that there's just a sheer volume. And Adam showed me yesterday, the Prudential do this really good document that breaks everything down, and there's always something that you can find to help you with your building your knowledge.
Okay, super. And just sticking with you for a second, Jess. So Magenta, obviously, predominantly, if not wholly, female team. In terms of diversity in the profession and attracting greater diversity to it, obviously you guys are excelling in that. Is there anything any sort of secret sauce that you can share with the rest of us on that kind of thing?
Just keep conversation, keep talking to people. It's the younger generation that are going to bring the diversity in. So if you're talking to your family members, your younger family members, and keeping that conversation alive, then it will just naturally happen.
Okay, super. Okay, brilliant. And Dan, let's cross back to you for this one. So I've got another one here. What's 800 times? No, I'm joking. Dan, in terms of Twitter, you obviously mentioned it before, and I remember actually when you sort of joined us, it was one of the things you said within the first few months, wasn't it? It was just that you didn't understand how people were going on at each other in public on a forum where everybody can read it. Has your opinion changed on that at all? What do you make of it all?
No, it hasn't changed at all. I think people need to be a bit careful about the communication we have with the outside world. And if we want to communicate financial planning better to people and show them how we need it, we need to stop arguing with each other on public spaces, maybe do it in private. But on Twitter, I mean, literally everyone can see that. And the likelihood is that some of your clients will follow you on Twitter. If not that, new clients will maybe look on your Twitter and see what you've been saying. And if you're there just slagging everyone else off and thinking that you're the best, it's not the best look for everyone else, is it? So yeah, I don't want to sound like I'm having a go at everyone, but I think that perhaps everyone needs to have this drummed into them from the start.
That's fair. It's a fair comment. It's one I can't disagree with. Gabby, in terms of events currently in the profession, especially for people towards the younger end and the early start of their careers, how do you think that the profession currently caters for that? Do you think we could do more?
I think there's loads of events. There's always events on to go to. I went to a Paraplanning Excellence event back in November. It's really useful to go there and speak to people that are also doing paraplanning at the same time. But I think there's a lot of events on, but more couldn't hurt.
Okay, super. And Robert, in terms of, because you've been going through the training contracts, haven't you? Am I right in thinking?
Yeah, so I've just passed my I1 and now getting into the rest of the exams now.
Super. And how's that going so far? And is that living up to expectations?
Yeah, well, it's RO1 is a joy, which I'm pleased I've got through. And now it's just about pushing on and getting into the fun stuff, really. This is sort of why I joined, just to understand more about it all. So yes, we are starting to enjoy it, and fingers crossed we get an exam date soon.
Super, good stuff. And Jess, if you were to talk to somebody and say financial planning is a great career and this is why, what would be that why?
Well, it obviously depends on the person. It's a great career for me, but it might not be for everyone. I like speaking to people. I think it's a very dynamic role. There's loads going on. There's loads of different things. So if you're a person that likes doing problem solving and figuring things out, I always say it's kind of like a hybrid between being a life coach and a financial advisor and just merging them together. So yeah, if that interests you, then that's how I would describe it. Okay,
super, good stuff. And Dan, you sort of mentioned before, and I thought that was quite a nice thing for you to say actually, that you wanted to go down the route of advisor and planner, but decided against it for now and might come back to it in the future. Can you explain a little bit more around those decisions and how you came to those decisions?
Yeah, I was doing the level 6, the PETR exam, which is an LIBF exam. I don't think a lot of people do, so it's pension transfers one. And I found that I wasn't actually understanding it very much, and I couldn't understand why I wasn't understanding it. And it was just because I wasn't engaging with it. I didn't, I don't think I really engaged with it from the very start. Wasn't finding it massively interesting. And I thought, I don't really want to go on and carry on doing this and then enter into a career that I don't enjoy. So I was quite proud of myself that I just stood up for myself and just said, I'm turning around, I'm just going to stop this now before it gets too far. But yeah, I mean, it's not actually the job itself that I don't think I couldn't do. I think I could do it, and I think I'd be a good advisor. Maybe it's just not for me yet. Maybe I need to grow up a little bit first before I venture down that road.
That's right. Yeah, and thank you for that. And the reason I asked you that is because that's a very grown-up admission. To be able to go into something and then turn around and say, actually, this isn't for me, and to go into something else. So, so that goes for everyone, really. Super. Okay. So, as we ask everybody who comes onto the panel, so thank you all very much. I'll start with yourself there, Robert. What are you looking forward to most once lockdown is over?
Beer garden's been opened up. Yeah, I think it's sort of hitting the reset button. We've got a lot of plans in the background here at Generation. So I'm actually pretty excited about what we're going to be doing afterwards and sort of see how we push on from here. I think there's lots of opportunities, really.
Wicked. How about yourself, Gabby?
Rohan, can I just ask, is that wine in your wine glass or is it water?
No, gin.
Oh, gin. Sorry, apologies. Okay. What am I most looking forward to doing after lockdown? I was due to go to Italy for Easter. Italy is my second home. I'm half Italian, so I have half my family over there. So I'm looking forward to going back there and visiting. I usually visit like 2 or 3 times a year, but I haven't been back since June, so I'm really missing it at the moment. Also, my hair, as you can see, my roots are coming through, so I really can't wait to get to the hairdressers. But yeah, that's me.
Awesome. And Jess?
I'm such a foodie. I love food, and I think I've worked my way through the entire Just Eat list now. So I can't wait to just go through the ritual of getting ready and going out for food with family and friends.
Oh, nice. Cool. And how about yourself, Dan?
Well, mine's a little bit more depressing in that I can't wait to see my parents because I haven't seen them for 2 months now. And I'm quite close with them, and they both had coronavirus about 3 or 4 weeks ago now as well. So I'm looking forward to just giving them a big hug.
Nice. Very good. Well done, all. Well, thank you ever so much. Except for you, Dan. You had 17-minute Q&A and did mention your boss once. But anyway, but thank you all very much. Thank you. Righto, so we're on to competition today. So stay on the line, Dan, and it's over to you.
Yes, okay, here we go. So this week, as you probably saw in my chat there, in the chat box, I'm going to be doing it on TV quizzes. So all the people who've been interviewed there, you can take part as well, rather than just Rohan doing this, because he's crap at this anyways. So we will open it up to you guys as well. And as usual, just put it in the chat box if you have the answer. But can I just check with everyone that can see that, yeah?
Yeah, all good.
Cool. Good. And you can't see the answers this week?
No, not
great. Okay, good. Right, so it's the same as last week in terms of the format. It is pixelated pictures. So all I want you to do is just shout out what TV quiz it is.
That's definitely the chase.
Oh, good one. Well done.
Yeah.
Started strong this week. They get a bit harder as we go along. Yeah, it was the chase.
Oh, is that weak? Is it weakest link? I don't know.
Bloody hell. Yeah. Will you let other people have a go?
Oh my God.
Sorry, I'll be quiet.
Well, you're working at the moment.
I should be working. I know that as well, but does anybody else remember go? Supermarket sweep, that. Definitely.
Good shout, yeah. God. I think we found your mastermind topic, haven't we?
I think we've probably just found out the level of my work ethic as well.
Yeah, it was supermarket sweep, this one.
I'm lost here.
Not a clue.
I'm going to say catchphrase, but I don't know.
No. Oh, we've got one in the chat. Hang on. Let's have a look.
Blankety blank. No.
Yeah, blankety blank. Oh, that was weird. Chris Bud asked, is it going to be one of them? And it actually was that one at the time. So, yeah, it was blankety blank. Well done.
Good.
If you can't get this one, then you can put this.
That's Bruce, isn't it? That's Bruce.
Yeah, it's Brucey. And what's the game, though?
Generation game?
Prices.
Yeah, good shout, Andy. Yeah. This is for the nerds, this one.
Oh, Scooby.
I'm trying to do that squint thing, but it's not working.
Yeah, if you lean back a bit.
No, I don't know that one.
No, I still don't think anyone will get this one. Maybe Alistair Walker might have got this one. But it's Robot Wars.
Oh, man. What a program.
I'd put it as a TV show because it's not really a TV quiz, is it? But this one? I think this one.
Pointless.
Yeah, good shout. Yeah. God, he's good at this. We might have to do more of these in the office when we finally get back in there. This is amazing, this quiz, by the way. It's probably my favourite quiz. It's not
golden balls.
Yeah.
Jasper Carrot.
Yeah. And it gets so bitchy at the end when they have to split our steel. Number 9. A bit of a tough one, this one, actually.
No idea. No. Struggling.
Oh, some in the chat. Hang on.
Marcus said there's some incredible clips of YouTube and gondolas. I remember that one with that absolutely savage woman who takes that guy for that 100 grand.
Yeah,
amazing.
That's why it's amazing.
Yeah.
So this one is Tipping Point, another great one. And last one.
Mate, no idea. I know.
Come on, they're really clever. Like really too clever.
Oh, eggheads.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And bonus question for £250,000. What is the lowest amount on the red side of Deal or No Deal?
Oh, that's a good question.
75p.
On the red side, the high side, isn't it?
Oh, is it? No idea.
100 quid, don't know.
I think Jess had it there. What did you say?
1,000.
Yeah, but she's getting help from someone. I just
No,
saw you. Yeah, it is 1,000. Well done. Yeah. Okay, everyone. Thanks very much for playing, and I'm sure I'll be back next week. But I've got to think of another topic for next week.
Good stuff.
Thanks a lot, Dan. On tomorrow's show, we've got multi-award winning Chloe Morgan with an interview, and we have marketing focus with Dan Walker and Phil Bray. So thanks everyone for joining us today. Have a great day and stay safe, and we'll see you all tomorrow.